Okay, everybody, welcome to HYPERTHOTS.
Welcome.
Episode.
Yes. No.
As well as musings.
Yes.
About Chapel Roan.
Yes.
But that's for later. Mostly Sophie.
Yes. No, mostly Sophie. I don't know. I feel like I don't really even like. I think we should.
Where to begin? Where to begin?
Yeah, where to begin? I feel like we should kind of start with like a bit of we should honestly start talking about the Chapel Roan thing first, because that's going to take like 4 seconds to talk about.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It's going to take 4 seconds to talk about.
Is it though? Because I feel like we can go off into it.
We could.
Wait, ask Ramona which one we should talk about first.
Baby, which one should we talk about first? Diana thinks you should decide.
Oh, what are we?
Should
we talk about a famous dead trans woman and controversy?
Should we just like get right into the Sophie thing, or should we do like a warm up by talking about Chapel Roan?
I don't know who that is, so you should talk about them first.
Damn, no, she's so unplugged. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Wait, but is she chronically online though?
No, I mean, she is chronically online, but not in the Chapel Roan algorithm, not in the normie algorithm.
Yeah, that's crazy because like the Chapel Roan is like big as fuck right now.
Yeah. No, and basically,
yeah, you know what? We can start off talking about Chapel Roan.
What had happened was she like, I guess she said that like she wasn't gonna endorse either candidate on TikTok. Yeah, she made a TikTok about it.
And that's always a problem. When Chapel Roan makes a TikTok, everybody's got something to say.
Yes, no, everybody's got something to say. Because this is also hot off the heels of her other thing where she said, don't
stop stalking me.
Yeah, where she said, stop stalking me and set very reasonable boundaries.
And people were like, she's so ungrateful. She's not built to be famous. You have to expect this.
Yeah. So I guess she's kind of been in the hot seat. And then, she said she wasn't going to endorse Kamala. And then everyone was like, oh my God, you're voting for Trump. And then she was like, no. But she was pretty
That would be funny, though.
That would be funny if she said she wasn't. If she said she was going to vote for Trump, that would be really funny.
Just to piss people. I mean, that would be bad, though, actually. I mean, Kamala Harris doesn't really support trans rights either, low-key.
No, it's like, that's the thing that I hate people talking about, because you see people on Twitter talking about how like, oh, the Dems have like fought so hard for LGBTQ rights. And it's like, no, you haven't.
I saw this post that was basically like, and fact check me.
Mm-hmm.
But they only would have, the only reason that they passed the gay marriage bill is because billionaires started being like, you have to pass this or we're going to take our funding away from you.
I believe that 100%.
Yeah. So fact check me on that. But because I read it on Twitter, so it must be true. My mic is like slowly drooping down, and I'm gonna adjust it.
Brutal. Because Peter Thiel is gay, and he's
Peter Thiel is. Me when I actually don't know enough about him.
Say it. Because he is.
I already said Peter Thiel's a.
Okay, no, there we go.
Is that good?
We needed to get a clip for you can't. You're gay, more or less.
Yeah. I don't know. Am I?
Okay. So everybody got mad at Chapel Roan for saying something completely reasonable, which is that we should in fact extract more concessions from our political leaders by being cagey about like, by not like, being so libbed up about them all the time, which like,
like we were saying, they barely even support gay rights. Like people are like, oh, they're going to put all the in jail. I don't know if I can say that. They're going to put all the in jail. But, like,
you have to put $1 in the T word swear jar now.
No, it's a slur jar. It's for any
slur jar. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fans, you decide if counts as a slur if I say it. So that we'll see if it's $1 or $2. All right, so that's $1 in the slur jar. But Kamala Harris already put a trans woman in a male prison, and she was murdered in like 8 hours. So I don't know.
No, I did hear about that. No, so
I saw it on Twitter, so it must be true.
So
fact check.
Brat Autumn not getting off to a great start.
No, I don't think it's Brat Autumn. I think it's well, we thought it was gonna be Demure Fall, but I like Fat Girl Fall.
Yeah, Fat Girl Fall is really good. Although, as a skinny bitch, are you able to participate in Fat Girl Fall? Do you identify as a skinny bitch?
I mean, here's the thing though. I've been called fat a lot, and I'm the heaviest that I've ever been as well.
Oh, no, yeah. You're here.
So like my hot take is that like any woman will be called fat.
I agree.
To disparage her. Even if she's literally on death's door of an eating disorder, heart about to stop, bones seeping through, posting on ED Twit. Oh, it's so hard having an ED. But yeah, no, as someone who has like been called chubby and fat a lot and also fills the role of a conventionally attractive and skinny compared to like actual people who are overweight.
Right.
And I'm not saying overweight in a bad way.
Right. No, I know what you mean.
True. My opinions on it are just like, if we're going to moralize being fat, we have to also moralize having eating disorders.
Yeah.
Because that's bad for you too, honey.
Yes.
So like, I don't think that we should be moralizing even, or like we shouldn't be glamorizing even being like underweight at all, actually. Like, if we're gonna call women fat for having a little bit of extra, like, stomach weight, then we're gonna have to be reaching out and trying to support the health issues, mental and physical, of eating disorders. So I'm, like, extremely anti-skinny, actually. I think fat girl fall. And it's not people's fault if that's natural to them.
Right,
but it's we're getting the eating disorder culture of the 2000s back real bad. And obviously it was there on Tumblr in the 2010s, and like that's impacted obviously my self-image as someone who was like 14, 15 on Tumblr or whatever. But like I'm so pissed that people are actually like, they're like, oh, I'm big backed, I have to figure out how to lose weight before XXX. And I'm like, dude, like A, you're not fat. There's actual fat people. I'm not fat. B, we're literally just policing each other. It's so bad. It's so bad. But literally, like, bitches will call me fat, and it's ridiculous.
No, that's
like,
crazy.
Honey, I'm 160 pounds and 5'8". Like, even if we're going by BMI. Actually, let me check my BMI low key.
Yeah. No, I feel like this actually is like a very good conversation about fat girl fall, because this is something that like, because even I like because I very much like feel like I am like a fatty, like I feel very chubby, but like but like people tell me that I'm like that's the thing, is like I've never been called fat by a man in a disparaging way. That's crazy, because
I've been called fat by at least 10 men.
That's so crazy.
That's how you know you're not fat, though.
No, that's true. That's what I've been saying. Well, no, that's not true. I don't know.
A man hasn't been a sexist pig
towards you. Right. No, it's true. So maybe I'm the one who can't be participating in Fat Girl Fall. Incredible.
Yeah, you're too skinny.
Incredible.
I can't even see your waist. Oh yeah, BMI is really bad, but I calculated it and mine is 24.3, which is exactly under being overweight. So even if we're going by the stupid BMI bullshit, which isn't even real, it's literally just like dividing numbers.
Wait, now I want to know what my BMI is now.
Well, it's bullshit.
It is bullshit, I'm pretty sure, but I want to know though. So send it to
just
me.
look up you can literally go online. But BMI did just like irreparable damage to no, actually I take it back. BMI isn't even the problem. It's honestly like people are like, oh, like people are going to see beauty standards no matter what, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, there's literally like, you can go back and find archives of magazines from the 2000s where they're like, here's how to lose weight, you fucking fat ass bitch. So you can be hot like fucking these other anorexic hoes. Right. But yeah, I just don't believe in like glorifying starving yourself for any reason. Like I am anti anything that is bad for you to an extent. Like obviously I'm gonna rip a bong at some point that has tobacco in it.
Oh my God.
So like don't take my words 100%. But I'm just saying, if we're gonna be like, oh, it's bad to be fat because it's bad for your health. It's bad for your health to starve yourself, girl.
No,
like you need to be eating your fucking protein.
Yeah, it's bad. That's the thing about the concept of health that's like very interesting, right? Is like we, especially nowadays when we're all very like, everything is very atomized and very categorized and
You're
is like,
that or not.
is like we don't like health is a very like influx thing, and people have like different, resting baselines for things, and it's also like very related to like your routine and your sort of behavior and like whether or not you're in a food desert and blah 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 blah. So it's like as far as like health goes, really it's, you kind of have to think about like, okay, like health I guess is more about like how you can expect yourself to be on like a normal day. And then when you have deviations from that, then you can be like, oh, I'm like unhealthy, right? But
I
there's
don't think
so many
so.
people who
I don't
like,
think so.
what do you want to challenge about that?
I think that there is like the idea of health is basically like lack of unhealth, if that makes sense. And so
yeah.
And that's why like most people, like there's this concept of being healthy in quotes, and they'll be like, oh, you're young and healthy, you can't have XXX condition. But then if they do have the condition, but they also go to the gym and eat well or whatever, like people would consider you quote unquote healthy, but then like you have a heart arrhythmia. So like it's really, it's like, it's kind of just like a very, and you can look at the roots of this, like a white supremacist, like colonial concept. And it's and it's also based on like having an other too, which is where the fatness plays into it.
Right.
Where it's saying, oh, there's good, moral, healthy, Christian, white people who do XXXX, which goes like, it's like an alt-right pipeline as well, with like the raw milk wellness anti-vax bullshit. So yeah, I just think that like we need to be, to our ability, if you are able, if you have the means and access to be getting the correct nutrients, like it's really like not, it seems so weird to be like not doing that, because like you will function so much better if you eat like 100 grams plus of protein and 5 servings of vegetables. Or as many as you can is just what I'm saying. So it's like, that's why I really don't fuck with eating disorders, because a lot of these people have all the opportunity to be actually more healthy, but oh no, what if you're like you have a little extra body fat? Oh no, you're not going to die immediately in nuclear winter. Oh no. No, literally. But anyways, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think
Fat girl fall. Let's go.
It's fat girl fall, and health as a concept, very nebulous. There's a lot of like very
moralized,
very very moralized.
Like I think that being overweight and it's impacting your health, or it like makes it harder for you to like enjoy your day, because it's like you're struggling to walk a far distance or whatever. Like that's not good, and I'm not gonna but I don't think we should be moralizing it either way. Like it doesn't make you a bad person to be unhealthy. And I think that's been like a huge conversation now, especially with like ableism bullshit getting worse and worse. It's just like finding it does play into fascism very much. Like trying to other anybody who doesn't fit into like this Aryan concept. Like if we're comparing it, like that's what it was back in the day.
No, that's 100. I 100% agree. And like, there's all kinds of bullshit going on. And so now we've covered
Speaking
the fact.
Of bullshit,
speaking of bullshit. Yes.
People are not enjoying the SOPHIE album like they should be.
What are your thoughts? You take the floor with this one.
Let me adjust my mic, which is drooping. My thoughts are I don't really blame assholes who don't know SOPHIE's music as much as I blame people who are ostensibly fans, because they're all being like, oh, it's not the vision. It doesn't sound like what inspired me about SOPHIE, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, these demos existed for years. Like they were almost done. And just because it doesn't have the finishing touches, which would have made it sound better, like extra sound design. Like I do think that what was lost sort of was getting really into the tweaking and getting into the weeds of sound design. the songs are still fucking good. Like a good album would still be good 90% finished. It just might not be as good as it would have been.
No,
So like
yeah.
people are like, oh, it's not the vision. And I'm like, maybe the mixing would have been a bit different. The master is what actually might be fucked. So we can talk about that a bit later. But I'm just like, the songs are still fucking awesome. Like it rocks. Like it's so good. I don't know.
Yeah. So I because I saw
Plunging
your tweet.
asymptote.
I saw your tweet about the RYM bros. And
Yes.
I am at this point where
Let me
I
get
guess
my notes out.
I'm kind of halfway between like your position and being an RYM bro. Because on the one hand, I don't know, because like as I was listening to it, like there's a lot of it. What really struck me with the album was like, yeah, no, the songwriting. Like I think there's a lot of like, especially the popular tracks, kind of the dancier ones, you know, Reason Why and Live in My Truth and Why Lie.
You always telling me lies?
And then
telling me lies.
those I
You'll
thought
always be my forever. Sorry.
those I thought were really good, and I thought like
Plunging asymptote.
I thought all of the ambient tracks were dumb. The ambient tracks are the ones where I thought you could really tell, oh, there is something missing. But
Plunging Asymptote, the demo existed for literally years. Like I heard that shit like 3 or 4 years ago, I'm pretty sure.
No, that's the thing. Does the demo sound exactly more or less the same?
I can't remember, but yes. I remember, I think so. I think like we'll have to dive into that later.
Yeah. Cause what I kind of came away with it. Like when I first listened to it, I was just kind of like, oh, da 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 da. And then I listened to it more, and some of the stuff definitely got like stuck in my head. I feel like, I mean, I wrote a little review of it, and I wrote this review twice. You know, I recreated the review from scratch in honor of
on the Nazi website Substack. Wow.
Yeah. Yes, I wrote a little review, and because basically for the first one, I was just kind of like being sort of an asshole, right? I was just kind of slamming it, being like, oh, this is fucked up, this is fucked up, this is fucked up, and I'm not supposed to like feel this way about it. And then with the second one, I was like, well, here's the thing. I started kind of interrogating it more precisely, like how can I, right, as a fan, come to the conclusion that this is not like her vision, right? Because I think Reason Why
by the way, I found the first version of Plunging Asymptote, which is on Bandcamp from 2019. So I'll send that to you for next time you stop talking.
Yeah.
So continue. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Sorry. I haven't even smoked weed yet. Like I'm sober.
You're sober and this is what you're like.
Yes.
Okay. But so, because it's like, yeah, no, how can you say what an artist's vision is? And I was especially thinking about kind of like my own thoughts and my own process with like finishing a record. And I think also as an artist, you can like relate to this, right? Like people have this idea that like something is done, that like there's sort of this like magical moment when a work becomes like finished, but that's not really true, especially for those of us that, you know, aren't the daughter of a like juice magnate.
Not the juice mogul.
Yeah, aren't the daughter of a juice mogul and have to, you know, work for a living, right? But that is okay on the juice mogul note, because that's the thing we should talk, because that's how the QT can happened. That has to be how it happened. Like, I don't know that, but I'm using my powers of deductive reasoning and my liberal arts.
Wait, I don't know if that's true. I don't think that's true.
Like, because where else would they have gotten the can from? Yeah. How would they have gotten the printing on the can?
You can just do that. I think that people, I think it's more so that the funding.
Oh, I mean, don't know. Funding for sure, but I bet her dad hooked it up.
You know, we can look into that. Fact check us. I'm sure there's somebody who knows.
No, there definitely is somebody who knows.
So we're talking about if there's like a magical moment when the song is finished. And you know, this becomes most clear actually in artists who don't release work because they are just basically putting finishing touches on until the end of time.
Yeah.
And that is possible. Like sometimes like you think that it's never going to come out.
Right.
Because like, for example, like Holly Waxwing takes for fucking ever with his stuff. And it sounds great. But like the record he dropped on PC Music last year had been like in works since like 2015 or 16.
Yeah.
So it's like, and there's producers online especially who are like smaller who just like never finish their shit because they're like, oh, it's not good enough. And I'm guilty of this too. But like I also don't think I'm as much of a perfectionist, honestly, especially because I don't like sound design so much or mix master. I just kind of like make my shit, do my part, and throw it to my collaborators and say, make this genius.
Right.
And then they do. But yeah, I think that it's just like I was saying, it's like if a song is good, it'll be good when it's mixed like shit. It'll be good when it's the bare fucking bones. It would be good if it was fucking piano roll. Like if it's a song, if it's a pop song.
Yeah.
And that's what A.G. Cook actually talked about at once. He was saying, I always put my songs like onto a MIDI piano roll. I don't know if this is always true, but he said this at one point. So I can tell if it sounds good without all the sound design. So it's like, in my opinion, if something is good, it might not be as good if it's a draft, but it's still going to be pretty good.
Right.
You know, and you can still appreciate it. And like speaking from an artist perspective, if I die, knock on wood, I want people to release my work and probably finish it. So like I trust them. Like if I became locked in a safe underwater and never able to speak in an ice globe in the North Pole and shot by SpaceX up into space, I would want Galen to finish my work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I also would want people, I don't know if I necessarily want people to finish my work. Like if they have an idea, go for it, but just like drop it. And that's because this is really the conclusion that I came to in my review, which is that I think Benny kind of goofed a little bit by making the conversation around like, oh, the record was nearly finished. Oh, like we talked so much about the songs because by framing it that way, like it invites people to go like, oh, this isn't like her, you know, vision, da 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 da. This is just a money grab, da 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 da. And I think it could have been, I think it would have allowed people to kind of like, I think it would have, I think it was because I don't know if you read the New York Times interview. I'm going to send it to you.
No, but my godfather did like cut it out of the newspaper to give to me.
Oh my God, that's really cute actually.
But well, also after that, he was like, you know, I never really knew who Sophie was, but I'd heard you talked about it, so I want to listen now. And so I was like, you should listen to Oil of Every Pearl's on Insides, and then he did. So we're getting the boomers there.
No, that's
shout out New York Times.
That's sick.
Okay,
although
what
not except not shout out New York Times.
No, yeah, fuck you.
Fuck the New York Times.
Yeah, fuck you. But
but like there's a part where he's talking about how like, oh my God, and it's decided that I can't. I've looked at the interview too many times, and so now it's not letting me look at it. But there's a part where he's talking about how like the sister, you know, went and got like a law degree to like be Sophie's like music lawyer, and she passed the bar exam like 2 weeks before Sophie died. And then he was and there's this one point where he says like, oh, it was obvious like we are all here for her. And so it was clear that like the family viewed like that for the family, Sophie's like career was almost this kind of like, it was like this like family like kind of bonding activity. Like it wasn't this like super serious like work of art, lit art kind of thing that a lot of us as listeners like kind of immediately sort of understood it. And that was part of the magic of PC music, right? Is that they were like, even though there was this like very clear element of like seriousness behind the music, it was also very fun. It was very whimsical, and it was kind of like playing with all these things that were cringe and da 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 da. And so I think by releasing the album the way that he did, he sort of invited people to focus on these things, because people are just like projecting, right? Like you have no idea.
It's really annoying.
You have no idea what like Sophie thought. All you can do.
They're mad ungrateful, dude.
They
I'm
are
so
mad
pissed.
ungrateful. Talk about how you're pissed. I've been talking too much.
No, you're good. It's a podcast. You're supposed to talk. So I just think that people are like, they're being like, oh my God, it was finished. No, catch grab, I'm done. I'm like, aren't you grateful to have more of her music released? Like, shut the fuck up. Like, you can keep listening to the fucking demos. Like, no one's stopping you. Like, please listen to the demos, but also like, isn't it cool that more people are going to hear her work? Like, I don't know what to say. I fucking hate these bitches. But yeah, I'm going to actually go in and like read some of the AOTY album of the year and Rate Your Music reviews that I thought were really fucking funny.
No,
so the first one, so I didn't know that apparently AOTY is even more toxic than Rate Your Music. So I went on, and like the first review that I saw of the Sophie album was 0. God, what a fucking failure. I took a break from taking reviews from album of the year for mental health. And that's all I screenshotted of that review. Because I think that says a lot about what the people who are writing these things are. Like, what do you mean you had to take a break from reviewing albums for your mental health? Like, what the fuck? But anyways, yeah, like, so another one that's really great is 12 out of 100. This is literally a giant hawk tuah on Sophie's legacy. This one's really good, actually. And this one actually kind of does get to a point. All of these are like, I see it when I see an anime profile pic, I immediately think it's a trans girl, but that's not necessarily true. But I assume this one's named Sky, SKYE.
Yeah.
So it might actually be a trans girl. So she says, motherfuckers, when Sophie made horrible EDM music, smile, thumbs up. Same motherfuckers when Sophie made the same horrible EDM music, but happened to release posthumously.
No, that is true, right? Because especially when
whether or not it's horrible,
right?
It's like
whether or not it's horrible, but I think that's the thing. I do think as part of you know of the eulogy that is this podcast, we do have to give a shout out to the people that have always thought Sophie has made terrible music.
Yeah, because they low-key, like, at least they're like sticking to their guns. Because like these bitches who were like, oh, I hate Vroom Vroom, 10 years later, yay, we love Sophie's influence on Brad and blah blah blah, we love her. And it's like, okay, bro, whatever. And like, people are allowed to change their minds, but it's also just like, I don't know, it just bothers me when people are like, oh, I didn't get it because of XXX, and I'm like, you just weren't ready, and that's fine. Like, you just weren't ready, and like, that doesn't mean that like you were the problem, honey. You were the problem. Like, she was right and you were the problem.
Yeah.
So another one is Super Jew 837. This one is Rate Your Music. I think. Is this still happening to you? It doesn't. It is out. I don't know. This is just a short quote. And this is a good point. If we use her Heaven Suspended set as a marker between OOEPY, Oil of Every Pearl's Done Inside, and Sophie, where the album ended up is not shocking. Because, and it's so true. Yeah. I don't know if you've listened to Heaven Suspended.
Heaven Suspended is like, I like it more than Oil of Every Pearl's.
Damn.
Inside. I think Heaven Suspended is
myself
really good.
Inside out to turn out inside out. But yeah, no, it's so true. And like, this is what I was thinking. Like, I think actually what a lot of people don't like is that it sounds, the sounds are on the record are like smoothed over in a way that is very pop. And the way that Sophie was having her sounds happen before was very visceral, mixed, super loud, super strong, really, you know, literally the clang snare, like very metallic, very strong. And this release, this album is supposed to be more pop.
Right.
But I think what a lot of people don't like is it's not as abrasive. And I do actually think that it would have sounded like this
Yeah,
if
no, I
it
think
was made after she was done.
I think it would have more or less, because she definitely was moving toward like, yeah, no, the reason why kind of sound,
Mhm.
and like Heaven Suspended is like very much in that lane. I just think that if she was going to release, I think there's a reason why it
And then
wasn't.
the reason why. Another reason why.
I think there was a reason why it was not. It kind of had like there was a reason why it wasn't ready yet in her mind, and I think if it had come out, I think it would have been. I think things would have just been edited a little bit more. Like I think some tracks would have been left on the cutting room floor. I
agree. That's exactly what I think too.
Like
the intro.
Yeah. Like the intro,
Yeah.
and then I think, because like if you compare because that's the thing, right? So the demo of Reason Why that was like floating around since like 2019 sounds pretty much exactly like the Reason Why they came on the record. If you compare, like, because there was a demo of Whole New World that was around before that came out on Oil of Every Pearl's On Inside. And what happened with that demo is it was 15 minutes and there were like all these extra sections, and so she cut it down to 9. And I
think that some of the songs would have been cut down.
Yeah,
is actually what I
some
think.
of the songs definitely would have been cut down, I think. Go
so
ahead.
Also, if you want to listen to the version of Plunging Asymptote that I sent you from Bandcamp, I think that would be a good spot to talk about it. So just like check it out a little bit and compare it to the Spotify, and I will read an album review.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do that.
All right, this is from The Autistic Guy. Each word capitalized. Half a star on Rate Your Music, a dumpster fire of an album. So I was in school having a pretty all right day. When I got home, I just went to my computer. Suddenly, I noticed that Sophie's new album had dropped unexpectedly. I'd listened to the leaked album a few days ago and hoped that it wasn't going to be the same as the leaked version. ... Not good. Not good at all. This album is some of the most boring and annoying EDM ever. My biggest issue is the album is how it feels unfinished. Well, it was, honey. Oh my God. Yeah, that's all I need to say. This album is not good. I wish it didn't exist. Mostly, all tracks sound unfinished and made me cringe due to how bad some tracks were. People really hated Raw, RAWWWW, and I like that one because
I kind of think Raw works.
Do you know Nothing Is Promised, the remix of Rihanna and Young Thug?
No.
Okay, so there's this really great Sophie remix of Nothing Is Promised, and it literally is just like Raw, but a remix. And so I'll send you that too.
Yeah.
Nothing Is Promised. Did you check out the Asymptote?
I'm doing that right now.
Okay. Well, Nothing Is Promised recent. What I've been saying is that if you don't love me at my Raw, you don't deserve me at my Nothing Is Promised remix by Sophie. Okay. I love how we just listen to music like while on the pod.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically just like metallic trap beat.
Yeah.
And obviously the one with Rihanna is better because Rihanna is on it. But like, yeah, I'll read another review.
Yeah, read another review. I'm trying to figure out how to play the music without it like being
from Bandcamp.
Much
well, you can just
than...
cut out your mic.
Okay.
God, what a fucking failure. I'd accidentally put that one in like a bunch of times. So I did take a clip from this resident advisor review that I do think is interesting that says, by highlighting what's not there, these inchoate Sophie tracks illuminate how much of her music's power and conceptual salience came from the meticulous details. She relished how a sound would bloom and decay as she calibrated its blah, 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 blah. But I was saying that earlier is that like, because it was quote unquote 90% finished, that means that a lot of stuff that wasn't done was basically like cutting pretty much. And like obviously some things or cutting and sound design. And so that's why I do think some people are like, oh, the tracks are boring. It sounds like loops. And it's like, I mean, she might have been gonna go in. She might have been intending to go in and like fuck with the fucking mono machine or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, did you listen to the Plunging
I'm
Asymptote?
listening to it right now, and I'm trying to.
It sounds pretty much the same. No,
Yeah,
it's pretty much the same.
I don't remember what it sounded like.
Now
on
go
the
back, listen to
record.
the one on the record.
Yeah, no, I need to do that.
So while
But
Teresa
it kind of
decides
does. It kind of does sound
yeah, it sounds
more
exactly
or less
the
the
same.
same.
It's like the mixing that's mostly different.
Yeah,
Because it has the same thing where it was like it's slightly different sections, and also it's like I was saying, the mixing is a lot more abrasive, and I think that's one thing that really bothered people. I saw people being like, it doesn't feel personal, it doesn't feel like Sophie's there, and I think that it's like it is a eulogy to her. Like the people who were working on it with her, they were in the room when it was made, they know the vibes. Like it may have been changed, but it's like even though she wasn't there to finish it completely, they're taking it to completion to what is their ability is. And I just think it's so silly that people are complaining that we got to have it. Like, what would you rather have? No music? That's literally like, that just bothers me so much.
No, I can definitely see it, and I definitely see why it bothers you for sure. I mean, it's just kind of like a goofy thing that people do where they're like super protective of like
Yeah.
the artists.
It's very parasocial.
Also, I think especially for people. Okay, yeah, I did listen to the Plunging Asymptote. It does sound
the same.
pretty much the same. But I guess that's also, in a weird way, I almost feel like that's evidence for the fact that like, because like if it wasn't good enough
Might
to
not
put
be
out
done.
then why
Well,
is
she
it
did
good
put it
enough?
out on a compilation. It's on a
Oh,
compilation.
okay.
That's why it's on Bandcamp.
Right. Okay, yeah, I was gonna like ask about
So it is out.
it
It's
is
like, it was out.
It is out, yeah.
But it's different on the album a little bit. But another thing that's interesting is that people are like, oh, she didn't mix and master it, so that's why it's not good. But she didn't mix and master Oil of Every Pearl's Uninsides herself either.
Right, yeah.
And she's not even the sole producer. Her brother has production on Oil. So it's like, I don't know. I think people are valid for thinking it's not as, in my opinion, it's like, yeah, it's not as good as it might have been, but it's still like awesome that it exists.
No,
and like I listened to it through 3 times and it's really good listened to all the way through. So I think like my advice for people is if you don't like it, please give it 2 more chances because you can gaslight yourself into liking anything.
No, it's
in my opinion.
It's true. And I guess really the thing is I think there's kind of there's sort of a tension with like capitalism and sort of this notion of like respecting like an artist and like kind of what that means. Because the thing about like the idea of a posthumous release, right, is like of all the artists that like that could happen for, Sophie almost makes the most sense for that. Because Sophie's work played with like physicality and like reality and like things being artificial, and so
immaterial.
Immaterial, exactly. And so like the idea that Sophie would release a record from Beyond the Grave is, I think, actually fits with the project like very well. My thing is just like that kind of isn't what happened with this release. Like they really did just kind of like Benny did just kind of like drop the album that he thought Sophie was going to put out. And I almost wonder if like he had maybe even like toyed more with the concept or like had kind of presented it in this very like in a much more like extreme way if people would have felt the same way. You know, like
I don't know what he could have done differently.
Yeah, I was in my head thinking of some like weird sort of thing. Like, because that's the other thing, right? Is like he's not an artiste, right? In the same
is he?
That
I don't
Sophie
know.
Is at least.
I mean, I don't think that anyone's an artiste in the same way Sophie is.
No, exactly. So I think
so. It's like not on him.
Yeah, it's not on him, and it's like his sister like died, and like it's hard to think about how being in this situation would, and like what kind of incentives you would be thinking about all the while, you know, trying to cope with the loss of this person that like obviously brought you a lot of joy. So I don't really think it's surprising that things just kind of happened the way they did, because the rollout was just kind of like, oh yeah, here's some singles, here's some da 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 da. There were these music videos, these little visualizers that were just kind of like these cool textures. But I think it is very clear that he did not really know how to embody Sophie in because I think that's the other thing too, is
and how could you?
Right. That's the other thing, is how
I don't think anyone could have done it better.
Yeah, and especially given, because I think the other thing too is Sophie's actual face and body are totally absent from all of the promotional material, which I think is something that people are not really used to.
But that was how she started, though.
That was how she started, but she didn't really blow up until there was a face.
Yeah, that's true. And it was very much a triumph of being able to come out an identity.
Yeah.
It was very much similarly to Arca, I think, even though Arca was famous before, or not famous in quotes, but successful, but it kind of hit a different level of her career, a different tier.
Yeah.
Just because it was about finding joy in womanhood. And I think that's actually one thing that is what was so big about Oil of Every Pearl's On Insides.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Being the immaterial boys and girls, the queer realization of identity.
No, yeah. No, and so I think people feel attention there. I also, while we're on this topic of Sophie coming out, I just want to say that because I remember way back in the day there was that Rolling Stone article about PC about male producers appropriating the aesthetic of femininity, and A.G. Cook and Sophie were very explicitly mentioned in that. And so after reading that article, because this was in 2014 or 2015, and I was trying to be my woke lord self, so I decided that I was going to use she, her pronouns to refer to Sophie in the context of discussing her music, even though she had not yet at this point came out, because I was well, if this is just a man co-opting feminine
then you
aesthetics,
better be okay with co-opting the she.
Right. No, exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember posting about it on Facebook, and people correcting me and being I don't give a fuck. But I also remember when Sophie did come out, I remember being so elated, because also I had just come out too, so it was a whole thing going on, and
wait, you're trans? Sorry. Wait, you came out as cis?
What is cis? I came out as cis while I was abroad. Yes.
Abroad?
Yeah.
A woman?
Yeah,
abroad.
I came out as a broad. Yeah.
If there's one thing that I know, is Sophie would want me to rip this bong right now.
No, I agree. Sophie would want you to live authentically.
I'm immaterial boy is bad.
No, because that is the thing, right? Is I think people were just no, because I kind of do think that
was a really good bong rip. Are you at home?
Oh hell,
everybody
yeah.
At home. Everybody at home. Sorry, continue.
I just because I don't know, I do feel if this record had come out and she was still alive and it still sounded like this,
people would have been or they would have glazed.
I probably still would have been, I would have thought it was mid.
Yeah, and that's valid. Yeah, I think that's something that people are struggling to cope with.
Yeah.
Is that not every artist is going to keep getting better every album.
Or it's and not every artist owes you.
Yeah, they don't owe you the same thing for their whole career, and you're going to have to deal with it, And
also Sophie, I think at that point, because that's the thing, she had been, because that's the thing, Oil of Every Pearl's Uninsides was when like shit was when she started getting like famous more. So, I mean, she's never been Chappell Roan famous, obviously, but she's definitely had like a cult of personality around
That must
her
be so hard.
for
I feel
like
for
a
Chapel.
while. And I also think the energy that you have when you're kind of starting out making music and you're really trying to prove yourself and you're being like, very precise and meticulous and all those things. And then as you get, more popular, you start to like, your sound kind of
There's
stops.
expectations.
Well, there's expectations, but also I feel like a lot of artists, when they get popular, they tend to not try as hard to impress other people with their music. And so I think because I think that is the thing, is like Sophie was definitely going to release like, this kind of weird
pop record.
And like you can kind of
as was the dream.
Yeah, and like her first release, like Nothing More to Say, and
yeah, I was listening to that again. Actually, this new album reminded me of that.
Yeah, no,
but if you go back and listen to it, you can kind of hear what people are talking about with like the difference in mixing and how the sounds like attack you.
Yeah,
or not mixing even. The master is what's fucked. I think honestly is what I've heard from the guy. The guy who mixed. I don't know. Anyways, continue.
Well, no, tell me about when you say the master is fucked. What do you mean? Tell me about this.
Oh, this is tea. You don't know this tea
I don't
yet.
know this tea.
Well, I heard about this before other people heard about it. So like when the first single dropped, Reason Why, people were like, oh, like this mix master sounds like shit. Like literally all my friends who are like glasses nerd emoji, the mix. I love this album, but the mixing. But they were all like, this sounds bad. And I was like, I mean, honestly, like I can see how it's like hits less hard, but like I'm not a nerd and I will enjoy things even if they're mixed bad. I don't know what to say. But anyways, apparently the guy who mixed it said that it wasn't the mix, it was the master that sounded bad. So, and they were trying to replace the master, but I don't think they did. But they were trying. And I heard that from an inside source.
That's crazy.
But like apparently on I think it was Discord or Reddit, the guy who mixed it, I don't know if it was the brother, like commented and was like, yeah, they like I thought I fucking put receipts in here, but I know it's on Reddit. I'm like a Redditor if I didn't log into my Reddit account and I didn't look at it very often. But basically, yeah, he basically said like I don't like how it sounds either, like low key. But let me wait. I'm literally so stupid now. Okay, so here's the reason I love to get high into a podcast.
Yes.
I'm regular Joe Rogan over here.
Yes.
Oh wait, actually I don't want to talk about this anymore. So Alex Evan, who is mixing the new music, says that it's the mastering that's causing issues. And the comment says Alex Evans 3029 replied, it's the mastering, in parentheses, I mixed it. The sub bass is too loud. And you're right, low mids are also too loud.
Oh,
listen to
okay.
Cook, Britpop Disc 1. I mixed that recently. This could also be fake. But yeah, that's kind of fucked. But that could be fake. It could be someone else. But yeah. Oh, it looks like it's a YouTube comment. What the fuck?
Oh,
yeah, that might be fake. But anyways, I know for a fact that the guy was like, yeah, like the masterer is why it sounds weird. So like maybe we can like petition to like get the mixes out of jail and have, I don't know.
Yeah, no, a friend of mine who is like very, very, very like upset about the whole thing was saying that it sounded like they couldn't get into Sophie's laptop, which
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true.
That's
either.
fake because he was because I don't know about that.
But I do.
This is a speculation hour. No disrespect to anybody involved. Oh yeah, I'm also going to say allegedly for everything I said. So this is all alleged. I would like to have the most respect to the brother. Thank you for releasing this. Fuck all the haters. Thank you for releasing this. And like you did your best.
Yeah.
You did your best.
No, you
like,
did your
I don't
best.
know what to say.
And I think you did your best. And yeah, no, that's the thing about like
I like it. I fucking love it. I'll say 7.5 to 8 out of 10. That's a great album rating. I use Rate Your Music, guys. Look me up. It's DJ Gravedigger.
That's so
And
funny.
see, that's my infamous name.
I'm gonna
Why
look.
was I rating movies on here and I rated Sonic the Hedgehog 2022 stars?
I do think because I do think the other thing about it too is like, and I remember talking to people about this, is like people, there are lots of demos floating around that people have been like begging for an official release for, and
Yeah.
a lot of people like,
Oh, I have tea after you're done.
yeah, I think a lot of people weren't really like I don't know if people had been asking for Reason Why for a long time, but like I was still asking
I've been asking for it. I was listening to that before it was released, thinking, I wish they would release this.
Yeah, I was hoping for like Kitty Cat and like some of the like QT stuff to come out, and I wonder if that's part of like the anger that people maybe feel is because like, oh, it's a posthumous release, but it's not even like the tracks that I like wanted.
Somebody needs to kill Charlie XCX and release Taxi.
Oh yeah. I want Charlie on Burn Rubber. I want Charlie doing the vocals for Burn Rubber.
I don't. I like Cara Bonito.
I do think Sarah has. I do think there's certain qualities about Sarah's voice on that.
I mean, that's why Hard is so good because GFOTY is on it.
Okay.
Like,
yeah. No, it is. It is GFOTY. I knew that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, Jimmy Edgar recently teased that maybe he said. He posted part of a interview that was like, these songs like Take Me to Dubai, is that material to want to revisit in the future? That's the interviewer. And the brother said, I wouldn't discount it. I know Burn Rubber was a song very deep to Sophie's heart. And then Jimmy Edgar posts, what happens next may surprise you.
Yeah.
So we could get Burn Rubber.
That would be kind of crazy if that would be a redemption arc.
And okay, say what we will about Jimmy Edgar, but like bro was there with the mono machine. He definitely knows like the actual sounds of Sophie's sounds better than anybody.
No, he definitely would. And that was
that said, fuck you, Jimmy Edgar.
No, I was gonna say, is this gonna be a Jimmy Edgar redemption arc?
Well, it will be if he releases it.
It will
if not,
be if he
we're going to have to go to his house and threaten to get that posthumous release.
Actionable threats against Jimmy Edgar right here.
Allegedly. I mean, if you release it, you don't have to worry about it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, he's a troll, so this might be a troll.
Yeah.
But also,
Jimmy, if you put out Burn Rubber, we'll blow you.
I would already do it for free. Wait. What would I require, actually? I would definitely ask for something.
I would want some of the crypto money.
I would ask for him to fucking stop tweeting, bro. Oh, yeah, I would want all his crypto.
Yeah, I want all the crypto money. Okay.
No, but seriously, though, like, yeah, R.I.P. Sophie. Fuck Jimmy Edgar. No, but actually, no, Jimmy Edgar, I will not say fuck Jimmy Edgar again in my life. If you release Burn Rubber, I don't care about your stupid AI Twitter trolling with right-wing talking points about women. I don't care about that. Just release Burn Rubber. All is forgiven.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many songs that I would do this for.
Yeah. No, if you really want because I know you've been thinking about it, Jimmy. I know you've been fantasizing about the double beach from Diana and THERESA. So if you want that to happen, you better, you know what to do. No
Who
promises.
Else would you want to do? Who else would you do a double beach with me? Who else? A.G. Cook?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which other? Wait, I was gonna say something problematic, but I'm not going to.
For sure.
No. We need a trans woman.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking of it.
No, there
you
are no.
Eat out with me.
Anyway.
Wait, no. Who else would you want to give a double?
I feel I don't.
You want to do Ethel Cain?
Yeah. No, all of them. Every.
Wait, we can censor who I was thinking that I censored, but we can censor this. I don't know. I'm kind of scared.
Yeah. I think we should now move on from this.
No, that's done.
Yeah,
it's done.
It's done. It's done.
That's it. Those are the only people.
Those are the
like,
only
we already got it
people.
covered.
Yeah. I think if Take Me to Dubai came out, that'd be sick. Also,
I don't want that one. Fuck that.
I mean,
Dubai's a bad place.
Dubai is a bad place, but
Canceled. Sophie's canceled for playing in Israel.
Yeah, Sophie did play multiple shows in Israel.
Here's the thing: we don't know. Everyone is projecting like good beliefs onto people who are famous,
right?
And like, I don't know. Like, A.G. Cook isn't a Zionist confirmed, but also like, there's so many people in all these people's lives. Well, no, I mean, like, confirmed in the sense that he said he wasn't.
Oh, he did say he said he wasn't.
He did say it.
When?
Find the receipts yourself,
yeah,
guys.
Okay, I'll find the receipts.
I think
myself.
Find the receipts yourself is such a funny thing to say. To be like, if you're allegedly, I don't know, you got to find the receipts yourself, guys.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just saying that like anyone who's like raised specifically not to be like the Jews run everything, but I would say if your parents were Jewish, like you're going to be around a lot of Zionists if you're with like rich and influential Jews, Zionist Jews. Anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody? But yeah, anyways, I'm not saying like Sophie was a Zionist. I'm just saying like a lot, you can't really be anti-Zionist if you're in her position, like out loud, like, you know,
okay.
I don't know.
So if
that's just why it's so based. Wait, bang back to Chapel Roan. That's why it's so based that Chapel Roan said that to free Palestine.
Yeah.
Like she didn't say free Palestine. She said, I can't support the bombings of Palestine.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking based.
No,
like
it's
anybody
super
who's
based.
like shitting on Chapel Roan, you have to understand super based by Nicki Minaj. She is the most super based pop star ever.
Yeah.
In terms of politics. Not ever. Of right now.
Yeah,
of the
definitely
mo.
of right now. And there's a very
I'm not gonna say ever. Oh my god.
Well,
I'm so Gen Z when I said ever. Holy shit.
There's a very good energy, I think, about her. Like it feels very her all her TikToks and stuff feel very genuine, and
she's normal.
She feels very normal also, but not just normal, because normies are kind of like, oh yeah, I'm so happy with whatever.
She's a lesbian.
She's like a lesbian, and she's kind
of
like,
drag lesbian. Yeah. She's a drag lesbian.
Oh,
like she's definitely with gender. She understands gender.
Yeah,
for sure.
And she's kind of not afraid to be a bit of an asshole, which I think is an important trait for celebrities to have. Honestly,
well, here's the thing: whether or not she's afraid, she's doing it.
Yeah,
I don't think she's thinking about it. Like she's responding to real time people treating her terribly.
Yeah.
I don't think like she's responding to like she's bipolar too, and I'm bipolar too, and I know that like if I were her, I would be tweaking out, terribly low energy. Like she just canceled a festival or something because, but like it would just be. I can't even imagine for someone with like bipolar too, like not. I mean, hopefully she's medicated. She's probably medicated, but still, it's like rough. So like she's. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I really don't like how people are treating her. This is like actually the opposite side of parasociality.
Yeah.
Because like with the Sophie stuff, the parasociality is mostly people being like, I know what she would want. I loved her so much because I'm fucking a music fan and or trans, and like I love her so much and I know everything about her. And I'm like, you don't? Like, I don't understand. Like, you really can't treat people who you didn't know like that. That's so fucking weird. You know, that's that's like if Kurt Cobain, like at the time, you're like, I fucking love Nirvana so much. Like, I know what he would have wanted. Like, blah blah blah. So that just bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe it's
not even people saying they know, but they're like, I don't like it, and so it must be for all these issues.
Right. No, that's the other thing too. Is it's like I don't get me wrong. Like as somebody who like does have like a very strong attachment to at least, you know, Sophie especially.
Sophie,
like
R.I.P. We love you.
I definitely was having those kinds of like, oh, because like that's the thing. What I was trying to do with my first review, I was like pointing to all these things that were like, oh, this is fucked up, that's fucked up, da 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 da. And I was trying to figure out like, yeah, no, how would I prove that? How would I prove that like this isn't something she would have done? And I had all these like little experiments that I was like developing. I was like, oh,
okay, well, here's the fact. It's something that she did do, just less baked.
Right.
It wasn't to full baking. It wasn't out the oven yet.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
no, exactly. And so
I had to try to cook it to completion.
I stopped. So that's why I like with the review that I actually got that I like actually did upload, I like kind of changed
read your
my
Substack
tactic.
review.
Sorry. You should have read it. Everybody should have read it.
Well, they will now.
They will now.
What I put up is I got the AG Cook is a Zionist Nepo baby ?
Yeah.
Shocked face article. Okay,
no, yeah. I Googled AG Cook Palestine and that was the 4th result. And I felt very good about it.
Okay. So continue.
But
Sorry.
yeah, I just feel like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, artists are very personal to people because like music is about memory and like da 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 da. And when you listen to a song that you like, you feel like you know somebody even though you've never met them before. And like as much as you might want to say, oh, this feels like out of character for, an artist. At the same time, you kind of have to realize... It's not out of character
because she made it in the past. It just wasn't done.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It just wasn't. That's the thing. It's like, it's a really hard call to make, like, when someone is acting out of character, right? That requires you to, I think know someone on kind of a deeper
basically
level.
Just misunderstanding the issue, which is that it wasn't done yet. It was a draft.
Yeah.
And, like, even if it was a far draft, which I believe it was, it's still not... It wasn't done, but it's not out of character because it's like part of her growing process as an artist.
Right.
So like if you want to be like, oh, this wasn't it, the only thing that I can think is that like the album would have drastically changed after this and then it would be a different album. For the songs as they were, this collection of songs, it would have been different, but these are what came out.
Right.
And this is the songs they finished. And I think one reason it was with collaborators so strongly is because the other person like was like knew exactly the vibe.
Yeah,
when they made it.
No, and I mean the other people also maybe had like files and stuff too. So it makes sense that like most of the tracks are like have features
of her computer. They must have had a hard drive. Like,
well, and also like even though you don't know somebody's password, like there's ways of getting around. Like, you know what I mean? Like
you would know.
Like there's ways of like looking at. Of getting around files. So I think the thing about not having the password to the laptop is like a meme.
It better be.
But I do think that it's just like yeah, it is. Even if the record regardless of how you feel about like the record itself, and regardless about how you feel like what the motives were for putting it out, et cetera, I do think it is important to take this opportunity to, reflect on, what Sophie's music meant to you, because that's kind of like, I think, the best thing to do. Like, if you're disappointed with the album, I don't think that, leaving, negative reviews, calling it. I don't think making comments like this is a giant Haktua on Sophie's legacy are going to bring you the peace.
Well, that person wasn't even a fan, I'm pretty sure, because on Album of the Year, people are reviewing it who never listened to Oil of Every Pearl's on Side.
No, absolutely classic.
That's why the people who are saying the bad EDM.
Is that like, that's the thing, is like Sophie as an artist was very...
You should be standing it. You should be fighting them in the comments.
You should be fighting them in the comments. No, that's what I meant to say, is if you post more, you will feel better about yourself. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh my God. I think I got a new... Oh, okay. Never mind. Yeah, no, I definitely... Oh, I don't know what you're saying. Sorry. People were talking about how... I was thinking that it's kind of like a ghost.
Yeah.
Of her, because it feels like a ghost, and that's not bad. But people are basically, you said this and my other friend said this, it's like, it feels like she's not there. Like you said in your review, I can't even find it now. And that's what's missing. And that's true. It is a ghost in a way. But I think people should be appreciating it. It's really annoying that people aren't like, bitch, you better come around. Like, come back around. Not you, but just like...
No, yeah.
You already appreciate some of it.
Yeah.
Plunging asymptote. If you don't like plunging asymptote, you don't even... Because again, it's like the one that was released, and maybe it would have been changed. Maybe it wouldn't have been on the album. That's actually, I don't know. The thing is, like, I do genuinely think that all of these songs were in a folder saying this is my album.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
You know? Maybe not all of them, or maybe all of them, or maybe they weren't 100% finished and they finished it or whatever. And I think that's why it sounds like looping sections sometimes, actually.
I feel like
low key.
I feel like there's the songs on the back.
It's fire. All of it's fire, dude. Like I've listened to it 3 times, bro. Like it doesn't sound as good as it would have, but like raw, which is like Nothing Is Promised remix, which that's your homework.
Yeah,
THERESA.
No, I do need to. I
mean, I already listened. I linked it to you.
You did link it. I saw.
But yeah, not every song is as good as every other song, but like it's really good. Listened all the way through, while you're doing your chores.
I think it also really does. I think it also really does give like there's sort of a very clear idea of like what she was kind of toying with, and I think there is like it is like very interesting, you know, like. So
you heard him say that they were going to release alternating pop and experimental albums was her plan, right? So I actually think that like it's kind of a mix together of the two. But maybe this was supposed to be played as a mix all the way. Not supposed to be played as a mix, but I listened to it as a mix all the way through, and not all the transitions are good, but also it's really good. So like I think it's like that's what you can see in the Heaven Suspended set, is that it's kind of supposed to be like dance to at a live show. You know what I mean? And you'd probably like mix them together. Like I think that's what the Nonstop remix was also.
Yeah, the Nonstop remix is great.
Yeah, but then my other theory is that like some of these tracks, this is not a theory I necessarily subscribe to. This is a thought I just had. Is that like some of the tracks might have been on like one record or another, or would have like finished.
Yeah,
but actually he said the album was 90% done, so I think all these tracks were there. Actually,
I do think he's lying about it being like 90% done, because I don't think
allegedly
I don't think he could know that, and I do think the thing about the NYT article that I don't like or the interview is that he's like, yeah, he's going like, oh yeah, this is our vision, this is what you meant, it's like you shouldn't be like framing it like this. You should be.
I don't know. I think he might be telling the truth.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure he's telling like
his truth.
Yeah, he's telling his truth for sure. As a stan, as an RYM bro that I am, right? Like I do have my own.
How many reviews do you have?
I have no reviews. I don't actually use RYM.
How are you an RYM bro?
Because I'm a pretentious asshole, especially when it comes.
Well,
to
you're not a RYM user then. You're not an RYM
bro.
I
actually hate RYM so much. I'm trying to put my albums on RYM and they won't let me do it for.
Well, that's because it has to be on a real label and someone else has to put it on for you.
Well, that's the thing is like, no, it doesn't have to be on a real label. There are plenty of things that aren't on real labels and they have self-release stuff. Facts.
You're right. My bad.
But
my bad.
Sorry. But it
has to be released officially in a way.
There's like this.
No, you know what? I don't know.
There's this thing I wasn't even trying to like put my work up. I was trying to like make the artist like profile.
Yeah, but you can't though. Someone else who's like approved has to.
Well, they
have to be like a user.
You submit
like a
things
moderator
for them to, and then the mods like I'll vote on it. And basically the mod said that I had to list the place I was born as the place the project was from. And I was like, that's stupid because like I wasn't born in the place where I started the project. And
mine doesn't have when I was born.
It's like, but
my artist page.
That's the other thing. So I don't get,
that's because I didn't submit it.
That's the thing. Somebody else.
I've never submitted anything that's on my Rate Your Music, and there's like 70 things on here.
Yeah, no. So this is my message. All the THERESA Sweetheart Super stands. You need to put my music on RYM so that I will feel better about myself. I'll feel like a more official musician.
I think you have to release more first, actually. Let's be real.
Shut the fuck up. There's like 8 things on my Bandcamp.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you're gonna have to dig in a little deeper to the. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I mean, I
and Sophie only has 4 things, and she's all over RYM.
I don't think that's the.
So I'm just saying.
So the point is, they didn't approve. Rate Your Music said no. Yeah. So you're not. You're clearly not a real.
I'm not
a
real musician. That's the
RYM bro.
Story.
No, I meant you're not a real RYM bro.
I'm
that
not
was
a
the
real
whole point of
RYM
this.
bro,
You don't have any,
and I'm
you don't
also
have any
not a real
ratings, bro.
musician because I
And you
don't
hate them.
have.
You're not. Everyone's a real musician, but you're not approved on Rate Your Music.
No,
and
I know.
That's not a bad thing. Fuck Rate
I'm
Your
being
Music.
silly. I'm being funny. I'm doing it.
You're so fucking funny. Fuck. But anyways, point being, what kind of bro are you? If we're pretentious music bro.
Yeah, definitely a pretentious music bro.
Oh, wait, no, what kind is what I'm saying. Like either what websites do you use? Like Substack? You're a Nazi? Substack?
I just feel like I just am like very particular about like music, and I've definitely mellowed out as I've gotten older and as I've taken more antidepressants. Because at first I was very much like, oh, all of this music like has to have like a point. It has to have like a reason to exist. It has to have something that is trying to tell me. And now I am very much, I approach music in a much more vibes based way. But I do try to be sort of very like thoughtful about like, because yeah, at first what I used to do, I used to approach music as oh, okay, this record represents like this category of music. And now that I have this, and now that I've listened to this record, I don't need to listen to anything else in
That is
like
actually
the category. And now
See,
I
'cause
don't
that's
do
the
that
opposite of
anymore.
so the opposite is a Rate Your Music bro says I listen to everything in the category, so now I know about this music and I know so much and I can review it.
No, you're definitely you're right about that.
But I'm not a Rate Your Music bro in that way.
Yeah.
You continue, but I have a completely different relationship to music because I listen to garbage.
No, I mean that's the thing about PC music though, is PC music allowed me to start listening to garbage music in a way.
But the thing is, it's not garbage. I like it better than bro. I listen to fucking like the radio, and because my phone's broken, so that's why. But like I fuck with some of this shit on there. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I was listening to the one that's like which is Taylor Swift, by the way. You know that one?
Yeah,
it's Rihanna. Baby, this is what you came for. That's Taylor Swift on the vocal chop. Fun fact, y'all.
That is fun. But here, let me finish my
I love pop
music
music.
real quick.
That's why I like. Oh, sorry.
Because that is my thing about like PC. Like before PC music, I did not think pop music was real music, and now I do.
Red flag.
And and like it took me a while to like really understand music socially, and I thought about it as very like, oh, it's the sound and nothing else, and now I kind of understand music more culturally, so like I've definitely like mellowed out, you know. But I used to be very dismissive of music, of most music.
That's so sad.
And
I think everyone goes through that phase. I feel like especially in like 2010 to 2013 there was like this hipster vibe of like everything that isn't blank is trash.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
No, I was very much in that way. But talk about your music. What makes you?
Well, I just love music that sounds good, and even if I don't understand it culturally, like I've found that like there's shit where I don't understand the language, like I don't know anything about the history of the music,
right?
Like, be it Russian, whatever, and I fucking love a song, and it's kind of in the context of my own like. Obviously, it's all in the context of my own cultural upbringing on music, but I also just feel like there's just like certain sounds that are really lovely and like I don't necessarily know about. Like, for example, like I was listening to shit with breaks before I knew what an amen break was.
Right.
And that was just like literally machine drum, bro. Like I swear, like the first time I heard like footwork, the first time I heard like almost anything was on Rooms by Machine Drum. And I didn't know any electronic music. And I was like, whoa, electronic music fucking rocks. And then as I continued, I found out like, oh shit, this thing is like a trope in this style of music that I didn't know about at all. And I think that that's so that's like one thing I do respect the Rate Your Music bros for like going through all of the fucking genres and like listening to them. That's so fucking cool. Like even if the rating system is like weird and good, Galen is one of the top Jersey Club remixes.
Nice.
Like not remixes, no, like albums. Well, but the thing that's fucked up is my opinion.
Oh,
You know what I because
yeah.
people who are getting to the top of these charts are like people who are like incorporating a culture that already exists into their music. You know what I mean?
Right. No, yeah, and Rate Your Music is subject to all of kind of the trappings of sort of like politics and like community, which is that the albums at the top like it's not RYM is not an exhaustive list of all the music. And
Well, it's not even a necessarily good history. Like
Yeah,
if you think about
exactly.
history, like in terms of who, like I don't know, we've talked about this before, but just like how actually have we talked about it before?
I
Just
don't
like
know. Go for just speak from the heart, Diana.
fuck,
Live your
I'm like
truth.
fucking dumb as fuck right now too. It's like the people who invented something won't even be mentioned in certain things about it a lot of the
Right.
time. But even just like on Rate Your Music, the top things are like bullshit internet stuff for Jersey Club versus like Unique and other like
Right.
the classic
Yeah.
Jersey Club people. Like it's just crazy. So I think that's on the ratings. But in terms of like, I think they do probably write like articles and shit about the like, it like emerged in Newark in the late 2000s, and then the higher rated stuff is all shit from like the 2010s and even 2020s, like late 2010s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyways, point being, there's a lot of really, really good music out there. And I think that there's so many good ways to find it, like Bandcamp. Rate Your Music can be helpful for like finding lists of artists or just looking up the history of techno or the history of footwork or whatever. Like footwork is one of my favorite genres everywhere. DJ Rashad, R.I.P. Another genius, gone too soon.
No, and that honestly, well, keep going, but I think DJ Rashad's a kind of a good jumping off point for.
Oh yeah, because they released a posthumous thing of him too, huh?
Well,
Or
even
they've
not
been releasing shit by him.
just sort of in particular the idea of the like, an artist that was gone too soon. Because I think DJ Rashad also, I'm gonna look this up. If DJ Rashad died at the same age,
he died in 2014.
but was he also?
I think
34?
he was younger. I think he was probably a bit younger. I think he was like 32 at most.
Age 34 years.
Fuck, you're so holy shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
No, so
you're crazy.
It's no longer Rashad, the 27 club. That's the thing.
Damn, it's the 34 club. We life expectancy increases. So but yeah, no, they've been releasing stuff that people made with him forever.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and I think, and it's interesting because like nobody has the same complex about the posthumous DJ Rashad releases as they do about Sophie, and so it's kind of interesting to think
that
about,
is so fucking true,
like why that might be. But I also, because I know that this was something you wanted to talk about. It's like DJ Rashad. Well, DJ Rashad, we know, died of a drug overdose.
Oh yeah, we're talking about drugs. So this part, extremely. We are not anti-drug use. We think everyone should be in a safe scenario while using drugs.
We encourage responsible use.
And the thing about responsible use is just like have one sober person around if you're getting high as shit all the time. Please, girls. Because you need someone there to stop you from going on the roof, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that people are being a little fast and loose with their ketamine use these days. And I think that the gays just like, I don't know. It's just like people need to take care of each other more. Like I've heard of people in K-holes at shows just like fucking like slumped, nobody caring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna like overdose on that from that. Like you're gonna be okay, but it's more so. But some not people aren't always okay, and you never know what drugs are on.
No,
and
it's
that's true of Lil Peep, because he was left to die pretty much. Like people around him were just partying, and he was fucking overdosed, and they didn't check in for like 12 hours. And I'm not saying there's not a correlation in terms of that. It's just about irresponsible drug use and partying.
Yeah.
Because like you need somebody there to stop you from doing dumb shit if you're going to take drugs.
Yeah.
Like if you're like tripping acid or shrooms or whatever, nobody's going to, you know what? Actually, someone might die from that.
I would say that it just having someone else there to help you process what's happening, especially if you are doing acid or shrooms, is very, very useful. And
totally. I've only taken acid when everyone was on acid, and it turned out terrible. That like sent me in my first No, that was sent me into my first manic
my
episode
God.
that like started my bipolar. And so like that's another thing. If you have a tweaky brain, like you could actually give yourself a worse mental disorder
No, it's
by
true.
doing drugs. And like people become schizophrenic from weed. Like I love weed.
Yeah.
But you can become schizophrenic
No,
from
it's
weed.
true.
And you already were predisposed to that. But that's why if you feel like you have a mental illness, just be really careful with drugs. I'm not going to say some people think taking shrooms and psychedelics can fix your mental disabilities. And maybe that's true. But also, it can also really fuck you up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If you feel like you have any doubts about doing drugs, like, yeah, you could have fun and that might be awesome. So please just go do it with someone who knows what they're doing and like won't give you too much or like send you down the wrong path. All my ayahuasca users out there, that one's for you. But no, I mean, I'm kidding about that one. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, anyways, people should be careful with drugs.
Yeah, people should be careful with
dangerous
themselves.
stuff.
Because
you can do dangerous stuff that might not be good, and then you might fall.
Yeah,
and that would be really
bad. And that
bad.
would be really, really sad. Because I do think,
and that would be sad because even if you're not famous and influential, dying is bad.
Yes,
that's another thing. Actually,
that is another thing
that I don't like about this is like people act more sad about Sophie dying than like 100,000 Palestinian children specifically. I'm just like, you're out. Like, I understand that she was a really good artist and stuff, but like, please bring this energy to people who are being murdered. Like, Jesus, I don't know. Everybody's life is valuable.
No, it's
true. That actually bothers me about celebrities in general. That's not just this.
Yeah.
But like, people are like, oh, this person died. And I'm like, cool, they were 95. Like, you didn't expect them to live forever. You can't expect them to live forever.
No, it's
like
true.
Judi Dench. It's just like, I don't know.
Well, and there,
yeah, but anyways,
there is. I think that's the thing. There's definitely something to be said for like, yeah, like this idea of like artists dying young, and like kind of,
and how it's really, really sad.
How it's really, really sad, and
it is sad.
It is.
But everyone dying is sad.
Everyone dying is sad. And I think,
everyone dying from preventable causes is really sad.
Yeah,
that's what makes it sad.
Yeah, that is what makes it sad. Is that it is.
And that's why we're talking about drugs, is because it's really sad when people die from either like overdosing or doing dumb shit on drugs, or it making them really mentally ill, so they kill themselves and shit like that. Like that's preventable, and that's why we should be taking care of each other.
No, yeah, and I think as far as also as I think also it's like people like to talk about drug use as like a moral failing, as like a personal failing, but that's not really true because people are
drugs are a deep part of human existence and have existed for.
They're a deep part of human existence
since the Bible,
and also
bitches have been taking psychedelics since the Bible. Like,
part of the reason why people get high and do this stuff is because like there's. It's like there's just like lots of different reasons why people get high, and in particular the reason why like people party super hard and like don't take care of themselves. Like a lot of that has to do with the meaninglessness of life under capitalism, right? Alienation, and like I think the thing about artists in particular is we claim to like value these people so much, and people who become successful also, like when you are successful, it's like there's definitely like I can just imagine it being kind of confusing because like, you know, you spend your whole life grinding for this thing, blah 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 blah. You get there and you know everything's kind of still the same. Like you have everything you have everything you
like
think
Chapel,
you want.
Bro. It gets worse.
No, it gets worse. She
got everything she wanted, and now shit is going bad.
And now she's mad. So,
as she should be, because she's speaking real fucking truth.
No, she is speaking real fucking truth.
Love you, Chapel Roan. Shout out.
No, that's the thing. I know this is very late, but like hot to go is a good song.
I don't like that song. I hear it on the radio and it bothers me, but I love Good Luck, Babe. You can kiss. I'm singing along to that shit. Yeah, no, people like treat that. Yeah, no, you get up there and then you're like, fuck. It's like really fucked. And that's why I'm like not just industry, but just like people, as someone who's been in different situations that I thought would fix my depression, I was still depressed.
Yes.
No matter what I did. So like mental illness is like very much like it's very societally based, but also like you're gonna be sad no matter what. Charlie's kind of proof of that too.
Oh yeah.
That's why she's doing so much coke. She's allegedly. She's like, oh, I'm not the prettiest girl in the Billboard charts.
Yeah. No, literally. That is what Brat was.
Billboard charts.
That is what
And
the
that's
album sounded
valid.
like. It is valid.
That's valid.
But it is
also
funny.
it's funny though.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm locked down in the mansion with my boyfriend and my friends.
Oh no.
It's so hard for me. It's so hard to be me. I'm so bored. Allegedly. No, she said she was bored. That's a quote.
Yeah.
I'm so bored. Totally. But yeah, no, drug use is definitely like, again, like so many artists have been going, it's not just depression and mental illness. It's just life must be crazy once you're successful.
Yeah.
Like people are looking up to you, relying on you, expecting things of you. Bitches who say they're your fans after you die are going to be like, 2 stars. Sophie didn't get to finish it. And that's not even fans. That's it's also disrespectful. I actually think fans being disrespectful is kind of giving people who aren't fans more license to be disrespectful. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because like if the fans were being like, we're so happy we get to hear this, even though whatever, then people wouldn't be like 2 stars, she's dead.
Yeah.
Like the fuck?
No, and I think I personally, in a lot of ways, I'm pro disrespect. I kind of think that you like should be allowed to be disrespectful, but also I think you should. I think there's something to be said for being productive, right? There's something to be said for being like productive and like actually trying to like get at something versus just like projecting,
bitching
right?
and moaning and whining.
Yeah.
Wham, wham, wham. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't get
whining.
Transnation. Where's Transnation?
No, but where is Transnation?
I don't know. Anyways, I just like, honestly, if I was an artist, well, that's the thing. People are complaining that it doesn't sound as good as it would have. And it's like, yeah, because it wasn't done and they dropped the fucking song anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And like, people are complaining. That's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, if they did release, the only other option is not releasing.
Yeah.
Or releasing fan-made master
They could have released stems for everybody. I think that should have happened.
I don't know about that.
I think they should have.
They could.
They should have.
We should write a petition. We should like give like ultimate for Burn Rubber. And it's ask about Taxi too to piss Charlie XCX off.
Yeah.
Just to make Charlie more depressed.
No, and Bounce. I want Bounce.
Allegedly. Oh, well, Bounce. I mean, I got to see Charlie play all the Number One Angel songs and like also Vroom Vroom and the unreleased XCX World shit like live at the Number One Angel tour. So I heard Bounce and a bunch of other shit. And it was maybe not a bunch of other shit, but like good shit. And that was before I knew it from the leaks either. I wasn't like a huge stanny. I became a stanny from seeing Charlie live, and A.G. Cook was DJing.
Hell
and there was drag queens. Yeah. But anecdote about Charlie concerts. I thought the screaming gay men was because I was in San Francisco. And then I saw her again in New York the next year, and there was still a screaming gay man. And I was like, but like they would scream so loud, like louder than the lyrics. It was crazy.
That is.
I was screaming too, but I just didn't understand that. And then I saw her again, and it was the same thing. Like, so I was just like, yeah, I really did think that San Francisco just happened to have the most gays, not that the entire fan base was gay. Guys, this was a spicy podcast.
It was pretty spicy.
But we just want to say we love you, Sophie. MSMSM SM forever.
Yeah.
We love you. We didn't know you, but we appreciate you, respect you.
Mm-hmm.
I think people should respect your memory more. Love you, bitch.
And yeah, no, I wanna say a few words because it's like, yeah, no, I will. All I want to say is this: there were very few producers that like I tried to emulate. Like there were very few producers where like I hear their work and I'm like, oh, because this work exists, I need to step my game up. Or because this work exists, like there's a whole space of ideas that's already covered and like I don't need to explore that because anything I do, they're just gonna do better. Like
Sophie taught the world to model synths.
Yeah.
Everybody had to learn because they heard that metallic snare and they heard those whoop whoop, the bass, and they were like, holy shit, sounds. And I felt that way too. I was like, damn, I didn't know that these sounds could exist. That's so crazy.
No, every time I hear a metal sound, like that's the thing. Listening to Sophie's music made the world more colorful for me, because every time I hear a metal sound, right? Every time I hear banging on metal, this noise that would otherwise just kind of be nothing now, makes me think about slides and being trans and being like
little buggy slides.
And like Pony Boy and BDSM and all that stuff. So
hard latex gloves. Yeah.
So
say your words though.
Yeah. Those are my thoughts.
Oh, those were your thoughts.
Yeah,
Hell
I'm done now.
I love the Sophie, like the interview. Oh yeah. Go watch the interview where she talks about modeling sounds with the mono machine, because there's this part where she talks about a giant piano, like imagining a giant piano. And that was just so cool. Like, I'm not really quote unquote a sound designer. I don't enjoy using synths really. Someday maybe I'll get into it. But I just loved that someone was thinking of sounds that way, of like trying to model crazy ass shit and like doing it as well. Like the sounds were so cool. Like I love the idea of sounds that can't exist and don't exist, but you make it exist.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite thing about electronic music and why I can't really listen to guitar music. There's like 6 sounds in most of the mainstream music. There is infinite sounds because of synthesizers, digital, analog, what have you. And that's just what's so incredible about computer music is that like, or like even digital in general, like Wendy Carlos is actually the GOAT. So shout out to Wendy Carlos.
Shout out to Wendy Carlos.
That's all we have to say.
Yes.
That's the pod. Thanks for listening, thotties.
Yes, thank you all.
If you would like to listen to this episode uncensored and see who the 4th person that Theresa and I would give a double blowjob to, go to HYPERTHOTS /Substack or whatever it is. Okay, bye.
Bye.
If you want to hear this podcast uncensored, go to our Substack, where you can listen to the podcast. And eventually we will have a subscriber version of that where we're going to talk even more candidly. So our Substack is substack.com/HYPERTHOTS podcast. Thank you for listening. Bye.